Here is a Duracraft window table fan. This is one of the older models. I don't know exactly what the date range is on these things, but I believe this could date back to the mid to late 90s. I remember seeing these quite a bit years ago. There was a store called CVS, which always used to sell a ton of Duracraft fans. And I remember seeing Duracraft fans all over the place around here back in the 2000s. Of course, now they've all pretty much gone extinct. I used to see these in Windows quite a bit. Or maybe it was the newer version, I don't know. I didn't realize until I finally got one of these that the guard on the back is the same, or sure looks the same to me at a quick glance, as the newer version. So all the times I was seeing these in the windows, I guess we will probably never know if it was the newer version or the older version. This one, the color scheme is light gray and dark gray. These came in, I think, a number of different colors, whereas the newer version only came in, I think they called it black, but it was more of like a very deep blue kind of silver color, and then ivory. It looks like the blades are also the same on these as the newer ones. I like these quite a bit. A lot of 9-inch box fans really just weren't that great, didn't work that good, weren't made that well. But these worked fairly well for what they were. This is a 2-speed one with that push to turn knob. It says depress and turn. No fuse plug, but it is polarized. I have a lot of nostalgia to these fans, especially the newer version. I remember getting both colors brand new back in the day. I want to say in 2007, which actually turned out to be, I think, the last year they made those things. It's kind of a shame that Duracraft caved in. I liked a lot of their stuff. They made some decent products. Not all of them, but a good number of them were pretty decent. Those little turbo desk fans I remember seeing everywhere as well. Those I actually still see from time to time. Looks like the bearings are still free, so this should operate okay. We are testing on the 119.3 or 0.4, it's going back and forth, the volts. So we'll start it up on low. That came right up to speed, as opposed to the newer version. The motors seem to take quite some time to warm up or whatever before they start working. I remember that with the two that I had. I think even when they were brand new out of the box, the motors always took a long time to warm up before it would run at full speed. And it wasn't like a bearings lubrication issue or anything like that. It just took some time. I think the guard on the newer ones is a little bit better design. The air seems to travel further, but I think the airflow is more gentle, whereas this is a little bit stronger. It would be interesting side-by-side comparison to show the two together. But this is moving decent air. It's fairly quiet. This guard is extremely dense, so therefore the aerodynamics is definitely restricting a lot of air. It seems to blow air up to the side considerably. Makes a very wide path. I mean, I'm maybe 4 or 5 feet back from it, and there's air moving quite a ways. I would say maybe 4 or 5 feet width, I can feel air moving. I definitely feel more air out to the sides than through the center. And if I go all the way across the room, I actually do still feel the air. I mean, it's not like a crazy amount of air, but it's there. Which is pretty impressive for something like this. We'll take a look at the power draw and then we'll move to high. What is it rated at? We didn't even take a look at the informations. There's the informations. Model DB-10. Rated for 0.77 amps. Which is honestly absurd for something like this. I can't read what the date code says, it's too worn off. 0.77 amps. 0.54 amps. 49.8 watts with a power factor of 0.76. That's actually a pretty decent power factor for a shaded pole. The high. And that's 0.73 amps. 66 watts with a power factor of 0.75. It's in fairly decent balance. It's not perfect, but it's certainly reasonable. Bearings sound a bit dry, but that's no surprise. I'm sure it's never been oiled. It's moving some good air. It sounds kind of restricted compared to the newer one. I think the aerodynamics of the newer one are much better. And I can feel it across the room. Pretty considerable amount, which is, you know, for this size of the fan, that's pretty decent. These aren't bad. And the bearings are still plenty free.